Hi, we are Tea Addicts. This is Stefan.
Moin moin, hello.
My name is Jürgen, and we want to talk to you about expiration dates or expiration dates of tea and
best
how is it
before
like
dates.
best before, yes. And yes, we have prepared or like improvised a little bit, like some stuff I have put on the table while he was preparing the camera.
Yeah, I have no idea what's here. I can see a Longjing, another Longjing, and some tea cakes like this one here.
Yes, this one is from 2012.
2012.
That
okay.
might sound like an old tea, like maybe expiration date
might be over.
like past,
yeah,
long past.
Yeah.
But actually, it's a good thing that this tea is old. I've just brewed it.
Okay.
It's a white tea.
And what's here? This is a
this
Longjing.
is a Longjing from last year.
Mm.
And these two, I think, are good examples of how different it can be with the storing and the expiration date. It's still good tea,
It is.
but it should have been finished like half a year ago.
Yeah, should be finished. And if we come to tradition, Longjing, for example, we have two ones. This is stored in the fridge, and I would say the best way to store Longjing is to put it in the deep fridge, like at freezer, like -10, -18 maybe, and maybe you put it in vacuum bags before, like those Wulong things. You can often see that in China if it comes to very precious Longjings or very precious green teas. And if you don't put that Longjing into fridge or deep fryer, you can see a color change, and it's really fast.
It's obvious.
It's really obvious.
Look at this.
And what do we have?
Yeah.
Put this for example. And the color it's much dull. It's darker, and
it's like a gray shade.
Yeah,
like,
it doesn't look so nice. And Longjing as
there's like really huge difference. And the good one used to look much better. Like
yes,
last
it was glowing.
Spring last year. Yeah, glowing is a good word.
It was really greenish glowing. And
you have to say this one is 2 years old or 3 years maybe already?
2 years, I guess.
So
actually, I don't know.
This tea is not made for storing, and expiration date is, I don't know,
and
as soon as possible. Drink it as soon as possible.
Longjing is one of those teas when it comes to tradition, and it should be like drunk or like finished within the same year, maybe the same season. By season, people at Zhejiang talking about within the same summer. It's like after the summer, and if you still have some Longjings, then it's good. But just get sure that you will finish that after the summer. And if you have like a fridge or techniques for vacuum, and then you can people store it in the freezer, deep freezer, and it works really well, as you can see like this.
Typically, this tea is harvested in like spring, April, May, sometimes even in late March. And so we would recommend, if you have, for example, you have the new harvest of 2019. Maybe we can get some this year in China. If you get it, then we would recommend, or I would recommend, I don't know if you agree,
1 year.
to drink it within 1 year. Best would be within a couple of weeks or maybe month, depending on how well you store it. The same would be true for Japanese green tea general.
For all green teas.
Mainly all green teas, yes. Some where you could say, okay, after 1 year, it's still alright. I mean, this one was stored in the fridge and it's still nice, but it was much better before. So it's kind of a waste to keep it longer than necessary. Rather buy small amounts and drink them as fast as you can, as fast as you can enjoy them. But don't keep them for too long, and just accept kind of that there might not be good green tea qualities in the winter time, because like the fresher the tea is, the better the quality. So in the winter time there's no harvesting, and then You might get good qualities, but the best qualities are the fresh ones, straight from spring. My opinion.
I would like to say something in general.
Go ahead.
In general is expiration dates or best before dates when it comes to tea. For me personally, I don't like to see that.
It doesn't make sense.
It doesn't make sense. For this green tea, as an example, if you buy tea in Germany or in European Union, mostly people have a print on expiration date, and it's 2 years. 2 years after this product gets on the market. No, you can see on this packaging 2 years, and you can count that down. 2 years is the most common thing when it comes to food or to tea like things like this. And on green tea or black or white tea, when you have a white tea, a tea from supermarket, and it's really commodity like, you have this 2 years. But 2 years for green tea, it doesn't make any sense. We really don't, and you can see that. And green tea is a thing. It comes fresh, and it has to be served fresh, I would say. Otherwise, you have really an idea or concept how to store your green teas. And if we get to other teas,
I would even go further. When you say it doesn't make sense for green tea, I would even say it doesn't make sense for tea at all.
Yes,
because like that best before. It makes in English it's different than in German, because in German it's like that the translation would be Mindesthaltbarkeitsdatum, and that's like a bad word, and it suggests that if you eat or drink or just consume whatever you have bought after that date, you might die. You know?
Yeah.
And in English it sounds a little. In English it sounds a little bit like best before, but afterwards it's still okay, which is kind of the proper thing to say. But like some teas, it just doesn't fit for that, because like this tea it's never best before, because it's getting better and better. So it's best after.
It's getting better after.
Yeah, they say like 3 years. After 3 years, it's a tea. After 6 years, it's kind of a medicine, as in good tastes and the health benefits. And after 12 years, it's a little treasure. So it's getting better and better. And this one is from 2012.
Much more worthy.
Yeah,
it's like if you have a tea cake. White tea.
It's silver needle
white tea.
Fujian, I think.
If you have a fresh one, and if you store it like for this 12 years, when it comes to a treasure, then there might be at least a double in price.
So we have to wait another 5 years, and then it's 12 years
Yay.
old. But we already started drinking it.
Yes.
I think we have one left, whole one.
And this one here? No, this was a package for
also
another white tea. White tea is pretty common now.
That's a pu'er.
And this is a pu'er.
I think this is the oldest one we have in the house, from 2006.
Oh yeah, Tesa stripes.
Yes. I don't know.
Okay. Yeah, and pu'er is another category. Expiration date or best before date doesn't make any sense at all, because those teas also getting better by age. And if you have this is a shengpu, like a natural ripening pu'er tea cake, a dark tea, and we also have this ripe ones, and the ripe ones also considered as getting better teas by age, I would say. And
depends. Like some they say it should be consumed in a certain time, but it's actually that's the thing I wanted to say. I didn't finish the sentence in a way.
Sorry.
No, so it's not your fault. I just forgot to finish it. Was there will most probably be nothing toxic in your tea after a certain date. Might lose fragrances and flavor. For example, for the green tea, this is true. It might add some or develop, but it's never getting bad in a way, unless you store it in a too hot or humid.
It doesn't get
very
toxic.
Very improbable. But sorry about the pu'er.
I would say this poor thing is getting better by age, and green teas, all sort of green teas, 1 year. This
maximum,
is like maximum 1 year, or you have a concept of having it vacuum and in the fridge, deep frozen, or any kind of way, and black tea. What about black teas?
Well, black tea, I think you mentioned the 2 years before, and I think
black tea
the 2 years apply kind of to the 2 years, the black tea. But it's like in the Western world, most of the people, they got to know tea through black tea, and for black tea in general, maybe you could say it's okay to keep it for 2 years. We have some black tea where I would say also, like after 1 year, it's losing a lot of flavors and fragrance, but most black teas, they can live with like being in storage for 2 years, but still for all these goods, I think also it's a little bit like with spices. The fresher they are, the more fragrance and flavor they deliver, and I would consider everything that's fresh better. Apart from these tea who are made for being stored, of course.
Yes, you have to,
which
we have these 2 dimensions. This is like, I would say this is the first thing you have to figure out, if it's a tea for storing, or if is it a tea for like freshly drinked. And we can say all green teas are made for freshness.
Yes.
Black teas, I would say 2 years. It's like in between. White tea we have to consider. There are like varieties for storing, and if we come to Yabao.
Well, people have different opinions about it, but I would say there are some.
It's getting tricky. It depends. And Wulong also depending. And
difficult topic.
And black teas, Bai Chas, like pour, or we have dark teas, and not brick teas from other countries. It's getting better by age in general, I would say. And we can, I would say, if we put it on a curve, it's like green tea is like you buy a green tea and then it's really high in fragrance, and then after some months it drops very fast.
Yes,
you can see that in color and also experience that in taste. It drops very, very fast. And black tea is like 1 year or half a year, 1 year stable, and then it drops slowly within the next year. It's dropping. It begins to drop. And white teas
very difficult to
very
say.
Very difficult. Some are like they drop and then they change somehow. and other white teas are like they stay the same for some years, and then they increase in fragrance and aroma.
I mean, the expiration date is also very closely connected to the storage, I would say.
Yes,
so
how you store.
As you mentioned already, with the maybe in the freezer, maybe in the fridge. Is it a humid area? Is it hot? This is very much affecting expiration date. But what we are telling you is like very generally speaking, like to get an idea of can a green tea go bad, or can a black tea get better, or what about dark tea? What's the difference? And I don't know, maybe a good hint or like a suggestion is like most of the compressed teas are made for storing, because there is an idea in compressing the tea. A compressed tea is easy to store and easy to handle. You can just keep it somewhere and it won't break, while this tea is not very good for storing, because every time you touch it, the leaves break, and this won't happen with the cake. So that's a hint. What about this one? This is
the
white tea. No?
This is also a white tea, and this is like a loose white tea. But I wanted to have a bridge on that, because this white tea, this loose white tea, is also considered as getting better by age, but it's not compressed, so it might be Depends.
It depends.
Yeah, but
as
mostly you're
always.
right for black teas, and it's the same thing with wine, I would say. If we have like
we like
corner,
the comparison. Yes,
this comparison is always a winner.
Yes. Yeah,
so it's the same thing with wine. I mean, like 20 years or 30 years ago, you could see expiration dates on wine bottles, even precious ones, because it was something about the law and stuff. And 30 years or 40 years, 50 years ago, there was something like an expiration date for wines. And now you can find that. And there are wines which are getting better by age. One are for like 10 years drinking, and other wines are like for drink it now.
Yeah, maybe that's also kind of a development. Because of course in the Chinese or Japanese tea culture, these people have a different approach to tea. They have lived with this always, and they have a completely different approach. They know what they are having and what they are consuming. When we around here, we are very technical and practical, so everything has to have its expiration date.
Yeah.
I think salt doesn't have an expiration date. Water, I'm not sure. Okay. Anyway,
minerals. Anyways,
it's like, I think we wanted to give an impression of how you can deal with it, and it's easy to see for this one. For some teas, it's a little bit more difficult to decide whether you could store it or not. Mm-hmm. But I think if you follow the idea of like compressed or not compressed,
compressed, not compressed,
green, or
color,
yeah, the color,
in general,
yeah, compressed, not compressed, the color,
yeah. And
what else?
What else? And the last step would be, look at Google.
Google it, yes.
Yeah, if you can't tell after this quick test, then you should Google, or you ask us.
Yeah. Ask
or you
us,
try that.
Yeah, just give it a try.
Maybe it's a tryout for you.
Yeah. That's it for now. Mm-hmm. Take care. Enjoy your tea. See you soon.
Thanks for watching.
Bye-bye.